Okay, guys, so we're on to part 4. I'm going to turn on the relationships and point out a quick fix. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to come down and hit this flag and right-click and hit Animate Joints. I don't know if any of you have noticed it, but it gets a little glitchy when this goes to the top. And I'm going to go ahead and explain the reason why, and then also the fix for that. So the reason it does it is at the top of this follower stroke, when it gets up there, it's reaching the edge of this plane. The relationship is tangent between the rounded top of this follower and this plane here. When it gets to the top, it gets a little bit confused. The easiest solution is just going to be to edit this and make it a ½ inch shorter. That is the wing follower. If I want to edit that.
Good morning, Perry. Students and staff.
Alright, announcement's over. So in order to edit this piece here, I'm going to make it a ½ inch shorter. I have to come down to, that's called the wing follower. I'm going to click on that pencil. I'm going to capture position. And this is going to allow me to edit it in place. This will actually edit the original part back in my data panel. So what I'm going to do is, if you look, I made that, then I made this, then I extended that out there. So that's the one I'm going to do. So the third extrusion, I'm going to double click on or right click and hit edit. And I'm going to change that from 3.25 inches to 2.75 inches. So I'm making it a ½ inch shorter. I'm going to hit OK. And then when I hit finish edit in place, it's going to calculate because there's some relationships there. I'll pause, but this might take 30 seconds or so. Alright, so probably a little less than 30 seconds. But now I'm going to come down and go ahead and animate this joint. I right click on that flag and hit Animate Joint Relationships. Now you can see it runs smoother. So I could move this hole in the top fenestrations over to put it in the middle of the wing. I could shorten that up. But it's important to note that anybody doing a flapping wing on their automata, you're going to have to be precise to really get it working. And in fairness, you'd have to be precise to get it working in real life. Alright, so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop that animated relationship, and I'm going to bring in the windmill. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to right click and hit Insert into Current Design. I'm going to bring in the windmills pretty much built up for you already. So it's not too terribly much work. I'm going to take a peek there. That's 2 inches by 1 inch. So I'm going to put a square hole that's 2 inches by 1 inch here. I would also note that's a 1/4 inch thick. So, alright, I'm going to put a hole for it. To do that, I'm going to come up to Sketches, and I'm going to edit the top fenestrations. So I'm going to edit that sketch so I don't have another sketch. I'm going to use a center rectangle. I'm going to go right to this center line here. I'm going to go ahead and make that 2 inches by 1 inch. And then I'm going to just dimension it pretty much almost all the way over to this side. I'm going to dimension it from the edge of the top, 0.25 from that piece. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It's computing constraint. It's taking a second. I'll pause that and let's see. Okay, so that computed. Now notice that's not on there because even though I just finished that sketch, but I have to turn on the vision on that sketch. So now I'm going to go ahead and extrude that hole down through there. Hit OK. Alright, now I'm going to put this into there. I want that to fit in there rigidly, so I'm going to hit Assemble, Joint. I'm going to make sure that says rigid, and then let's see, I'll put in, I could use this edge right there. And then I want that to fit into, that would be the front right corner. I want that to go into right there. And that would be accurate. I'm going to move it up a quarter of an inch, or let's see, I'm guessing that's going to be 125. So put 125, and yeah, that's flush. All right, I'm going to double check I got it going the right way. Hit OK. All right. So now to drive this, I would use a pulley, and a pulley can turn 90 degrees, so I want to place a pulley underneath it, rigidly mounted to this shaft. I don't think I'm going to model the belt of that. It's possible for those of you who really want to, but it's a pain. So I'm going to go ahead now and go assemble joint, and I'll choose, yep, I want that. Let's put this on here. I'm just going to put it on here, the edge, and slide it over underneath. So I'm going to come over here. Oops, slid a little too far, and I'm just going to line this. Obviously, pulleys are forgiving in small scenarios. All right. Okay. Now, to motion link this pulley here is twice the radius of this pulley built in on the back of that. So for every one turn of the bottom one, the top one is going to make 2 turns. And certainly I would increase velocity and by the same relationship, the ratios of the radii, and torque is also affected for those of you who know a little bit about those relationships, but that's a pretty POE, if you would. So I'm going to go ahead though and set a motion relationship now. So I'm going to create another motion relationship, motion link I should say, and I want to link this one, which is the same as that bottom pulley, and this one. I'll pause it as it thinks. Okay, so it thought, and it is now running that. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the, I'm going to make this one 180, because what I want this to do is I want this one to go twice as fast as that one. So I'm guessing that I make this one 180. By doing that, it immediately panics, and I'm going to pause while it's thinking. Okay, so after a couple of minutes, I now see that I wanted to change the top one to 180, because that's this one. And I want this one for every 120 or 180 degrees, I want this to go 360. It's twice as much. But I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And it's finishing up. Now, when I come over here and right click and hit animate, show relationships, I now should have everything work. And notice this is spinning twice as fast as that because the pulley's in half the diameter. Please note that I've left out a belt that goes from this pulley to that pulley. Again, that's there. If I go even, let's see, visual style, if I go to just shaded, it gives a little bit better of everything. But that is most of the motions that we anticipate kids wanting to use with their automatas. There are other things out there, and certainly we've had other things made, and we will continue to make other things, but this kind of gives you the crash course and kinematics and dynamics, and how to model that in Autodesk Fusion.